Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast. My name is Scott Howell, your fearless host and leader, insurance agency owner and insurance evangelist for I Protect Insurance and Financial Services, based out of Huntsville, Alabama. And before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He is a 6'3" sophomore from Mobile, Alabama, parade first team All-American, Rivals 5-star recruit. He is a fantastic insurance agent and a great American. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Bradley Flowers. How are you, Bradley?
I'm good. I got a story for you.
Tell me about it.
Not insurance related.
Love
but
it.
Every parent listening to this will appreciate it.
Okay.
So we took Luke to the ball field the other day to watch his little buddy play baseball. And as we are walking into the ball field, he says he has to go to the bathroom.
Of course.
We said, "Let us get inside, buddy." So we walk in, and you walk in, you're facing the outfield. When you walk in, we look away dealing with the baby. We turn back, and he's facing the outfield, also facing all the parents, all the players, and he is attempting to relieve himself.
Drop trowel.
In front of and we're like, no. And he's so confused because he's like, I do that at home?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like, oh, Lord, help us.
So he didn't communicate to you in an appropriate manner how badly he needed to go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
Pretty bad.
Exactly.
Bradley.
So he almost called a charge.
Bradley, I've got an all-star guest on this show today, and normally I tell some crazy-ass story like, last week when my wife barehanded caught a copperhead snake and took pictures of that.
Well, how did she release it without getting bit?
She just threw it down like that. Well, actually, no. I had a flat pan shovel, and I cut its head off.
As you should.
Yes. But anyway.
The only good snake is a dead snake.
I am going to give our listeners a break and not tell one of my crazy-ass, wild, insane stories. And I do have a couple I could tell today that I'm not going to. I'm going to wait because I want to bring our all-star guest on this podcast today. I am so excited to have him on this show. I can tell that if he and I ever got together, there would probably be one or two Diet Miller's drank. I'm just guessing, but I'm just going to guess. Now I'm going to ask him to get in my DeLorean today, and that's going to be two big old boys in a DeLorean. We're going to fill that son of a gun up, but I want to give him the intro he's always deserved. Ladies and gentlemen, he originally grew up in a small town in southern Indiana, and he currently resides in the great state of Wisconsin. He is a graduate from the National Championship Football Program at Indiana University, where he pisses excellence as part of one of the greatest football programs in the history of modern collegiate athletics. In high school, he worked at a diner. Remember what I've been telling you. I'm only going to hire people that worked in food services from now on. That's the only way I'm going to go. Worked in a diner for about a year in his hometown, and the landlord asked him to take over the diner and run it. And we're going to get into that story. I'm not even going to tell that whole story. But after graduating, he interned for a campus ministry at Indiana University for a year, waiting on his wife to graduate. And after that, he worked for an American family agency in Madison, Wisconsin, selling home and auto insurance. Hell yes, you did. Mm-hmm. He moved to American Family Corporate a year later, working in the international wholesale division. He did that for a few years. And at some point, he took a job at Rural Mutual, which is a Farm Bureau affiliate in Wisconsin. He was there for about 4 months when Bunker, a local insurtech startup, reached out, and he came on board with those guys as a producer, bottom of the totem pole kind of guy. And today, He's joined the Citadel, which is a program manager. Here he's focused on gig economy. His background, we're going to talk about what that is, and embedded insurance products. His main role is to build insurance products. That's his jam, to build cool shit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound honor today to introduce to you first-time guest on the IGP, Mr. Ryne Ring. How are you, Ryne?
Thanks, fellas. No, that was great. We got a lot to go into with all that.
Ryne, I'm going to start with the start. I was in a very important meeting with a friend of mine that sells and does global insurance in the Middle East, in the Far East, all over the world. I was with him 2 weeks ago. Shout out to my friend and great American, Mr. Chris Ball. And Chris Ball, in the middle of that meeting, said, y'all know, you want me to tell you about embedded insurance? He said, I just got back from Japan, and the countries like Japan, embedded insurance, he claims, is just everywhere. Everything's embedded insurance. Tell me a little bit. Do you know anything about what he's talking about there?
Embedded insurance is pretty broad. One, thing I've heard about Japanese culture is that they all buy travel insurance.
Right.
Which rocks my world because, you see these announcements from travel insurance carriers and you're like, I can buy this policy for $10 and they're posting like billions of dollars in premium. I never understood that. Apparently in Japan, travel insurance is big and I'll say it's embedded, but when they sign up, they have a paper form they fill out, put all their information on, buy the travel insurance.
Why do they buy it? Is there a systemic reason in regards to like their travel reliability?
I have no idea. Because it's certainly not super popular here unless it's embedded in a sense where like you just get it without signing up for it.
I click no on the Delta thing every single time I buy a flight.
Me too, and I feel like a hypocrite.
I'll tell you something I've been looking for, Ryne. A long time ago, when you went to the airport, they would have actual vending machines there where you could buy travel insurance at the airport. Have you ever seen one of these?
Mm-hmm.
It's an insurance vending machine.
Mm-hmm. Has a piece of paper in it.
You buy your travel insurance at the airport. And I think it was plane crash. I think it was actually like accident insurance. I want one of those vending machines so bad to put into my office. I know someone that has one. Taylor Dobby has one. But if anybody out there is looking for a birthday present for Bradley, a travel insurance vending machine.
Doesn't it kind of look like a newspaper vending machine?
It does. Yep, it does.
But
the embedded insurance thing is interesting because I gave a talk at Soup Live maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and at that point nobody in that room had heard of embedded insurance, and it was a little bit of like a doom and gloom, but it was kind of like, hey, you guys need to like be on your game. The thing I love about embedded insurance is not the thing, it's the thing that gets you to the thing. You know what I mean? Like for us, for the insurance professionals, it's like that's the big crescendo moment, where for the client, that's just the gateway to buy the house, to start the business, to get the job, to get the car, to buy the jet ski, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, this embedded thing, it's like the physical embodiment of that.
Yeah, but the problem is, as agents, and I keep saying this, I love embedded insurance too, but I can't figure out how, as an agent, we get involved in that process, because it seems like we get cut out of everything related to embedded insurance.
Well, I think what's happened, and Ryne maybe can add some context to this, is a lot of the embedded stuff has gone the direction of the travel insurance, the pet insurance, the jewelry insurance, and stuff like that. It's the easy policies that you don't really need an agent to buy or service.
Yeah. No, and I like the embedded opportunities where like you can really get agents involved. Like, the point of sale, embedded opportunities, that's what you see in like the Amazons where you go on Delta and stuff like that. The embedded stuff I like is like things that you get just by using something else, like your credit card. Like,
Right.
your credit card has tons of insurance benefits, and I'm sure agents out there everywhere have tons of opportunities where they can say, well, my client here, he has 1,000 independent contractors, or this delivery company that I insure, they have 4,000 drivers. And those are the things that we can come in and say, yeah, let's push some type of embedded insurance down the line to these association members, your clients, your independent contractors, everything like that.
I'll tell you one. IT providers
Hmm.
require all your clients to buy cyber insurance to use you for managed services.
Absolutely. Yep, MSPs. There's actually an MSP that approached me, um, and what they wanted to do, it was really interesting. They were like, hey, I want all my clients to have cyber, of course, but they're like, I'm an MSP. Like, it's my job to do what cyber companies are doing on the remediation side. They're like, I don't want them to come in and do like their system reboots and all that. They're like, that's my job. And so we're essentially designing a policy around that to say, like, hey, an insurance company has the high limits. If something really goes wrong, there's a lawsuit. But as far as like all the remediation, you as the MSP is going to take care of this.
Right.
The one time I tried to do a program for embedded insurance I was trying to find an MGA or a broker that would assist me with an embedded insurance program for a new rental equipment retail business.
Yeah.
Bubba, I looked high, low. I must have asked 1,000 agents, MGAs, wholesale brokers. United Rentals, which is the big 800-pound gorilla out there for rental companies, they have their own proprietary program that at the point of sale, when you rent a piece of equipment, they, I think they require you to buy the insurance on the piece of equipment you're renting. I could not find anybody that would give me or had a program for that.
You just got to talk to me. You just
There
got
you
to do
go.
a loss damage waiver.
Loss damage waiver.
That's right.
Well,
It's essentially saying, hey, I don't have insurance for this piece of equipment that I'm renting. I'm going to sign this and pay a fee just in case something happens to it.
There you go.
well, next time I'm calling you.
What about jewelry? Do you guys play in the jewelry space?
I don't play particularly in the jewelry space, but um, it's certainly something that I've seen in the embedded spot. You just have great companies, Wisconsin-based company like Jewelers Mutual, like
Yeah.
that do jewelry really, really well.
BriteCo. BriteCo's business model is interesting.
I have my jewelry policy through BriteCo.
So BriteCo,
My wife's.
what they do, and I could be getting this wrong a little bit. So I got my watch appraised at a buddy who owns a jewelry store, and I get the appraisal, and then immediately after that, I get a link to insure it with BriteCo. And I was like, hold on a damn minute. He's like, no, it comes automatically. And so we started having this conversation.
Embedded insurance.
And what BriteCo does is BriteCo's value add to the jeweler to get them to offer insurance is they provide the appraisal software to them for free.
Mm-hmm.
So they do
That's
the
right.
appraisals for free,
Yep.
and then they get all the data on the insurance side of things. And I was like, that's a brilliant model.
Well, I use a silicone rings because I feel like it's like sweatpants on my finger compared to something metal.
God, that is
even
such
like
a good description of it.
Yeah, it like last week, like mine broke, and they have a lifetime warranty on it, and that is embedded insurance in itself, right? Like and a lot of companies do this. They offer the warranty, but if they send me a new ring, they're paying for it out of their pocket. It's coming off their balance sheet. But you can put a clip on there, transfer all that risk to an insurance company, and have them handle it.
Yeah, I've got so I ordered some shirts. Have you seen these dress collar polos? Have you seen those? It's a polo with a dress collar. So the whole point is you can wear a suit and you're not hot.
Right.
So it's a short sleeve. So I ordered 2 of them for a photo shoot we had, and they didn't come in. They still haven't come in. And I messaged the company. I'm like, hey.
Damn, that's a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was like, hey, these were supposed to be here on April 18th. They didn't come in. It's now May the 1st. I immediately get here's your claim. Your claim has been filed. And then I immediately get another notification that, oh, you have 2 more shirts coming in the mail. And I'm like,
Nice.
It's insurance. Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you, Ryne. What the hell is a gig platform? I'm just trying to channel through all these agents listening to this right now who want to know what you do. And I know you mentioned here gig economy, gig platform. I'm just a redneck from North Alabama. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, so I mean that's my background. Coming from my bunker days was gig economy, where these mobile apps, Ubers of everything. Whether it be ride share, come go on our app, find somebody, come clean your house, mow your lawn, things of that nature. So yeah, that's particularly my background and how I started out. We back in the bunker days, we had this COI compliance tool with the digital agency paired. So we would do one-off submissions, like, hey, you've got an IT person coming to work. Here's what you need on your certificate. Here's what we would provide you. And so I started to play around with master policies and like, how can I use one policy to cover thousands of independent contractors and not have to do those one-offs? And then I started building those into the gig economy platforms. And I can go into more detail about how, I insure those. But, I'm taking concepts from my gig economy days and kind of building those products out using the same concepts, but different industries.
And if these agents listening to this right now, from an embedded insurance standpoint, and what you're working on right now with it, what are some of the things you could help them with? You mentioned to me being able to help me with that loss damage waiver that we were talking about earlier. But what are some of the other interesting, because again, I've never found anything that I could really sink my teeth into in terms of embedded insurance that I felt like was, worthy of messing with, if you will. I would love to find something out there to get involved with.
These gig economy platforms are essentially like a company subcontracting out all their work, all 1099s. So we can even take out the part that it's on a mobile app. But, the old way is they're either uninsured and you're like, well, I don't really care if they have their own insurance or not. And companies hate that. Or B, you have to collect all their certificates. You have to manage all their certificates. And coming from a company that did that with software, that's like hell on earth for the insured, for insurance agents, period. So my strategy was to build out the master policy. Okay, what if I built a master policy where I opted in every single worker that was on your platform, or like I said, even if there's not technology there, all your independent contractors onto one master policy. They all get their $1 million, $2 million general liability policy. They only get coverage while they work for you. They only pay for the coverage when they work for you. So like a lot of these mobile apps where people are like coming to your house and cleaning, for example, I'm giving them a policy. And what we're doing is saying like, hey, your insured has coverage for this house. They're going to go clean on this day at this time while they're on app. I'm going to charge them, say, $5 per job. And you're just going to send me a monthly report with all the workers that I'm insuring, and you're going to collect the premium for me.
Wow.
At that point, there's no gaps, there's no lapses, there's no working on COIs and managing those. Like everybody just has coverage just because they're working for you.
Wow.
And to me, that's like true embedded coverage.
No
It's
doubt.
sort of like also like the tenant legal thing, which I think you guys do as well.
Yeah.
Where if you have someone, and it's funny, I've seen agents in groups like, this is a scam. No. It's like the apartment complex wants to control what they can control. And so you have somebody moving to an apartment complex. Hey, you can provide your own renter's insurance or we can provide it for you. And tenant legal is structured very similarly to renter's insurance. They provide the report every month of how many active tenants they do, and then there's a premium charged to that. So it's the apartment complex is buying the renter's insurance for the entire apartment complex and then just passing that individual cost along to the tenant.
Right.
Yep. No holes, no gaps, no worries.
Yeah, and that's like, I've heard agents too, like say like real estate companies or mortgage companies or title companies having an insurance arm, And they're like, oh, these people are greedy. They're trying to take us. Like, no, it's not that. It's just they're trying to control as much of the process as they possibly can. Like, they don't want to be in the insurance business. They're just trying to be vertically integrated so that their process goes smoother.
And they're greedy.
They also might be greedy.
Yeah.
But I had a mortgage broker come up to me at an event a couple years ago, somebody that does not care for me, and I don't care for him. And he's like, my firm is about to start offering homeowners insurance, right? Like, ha, ha, ha. And I said, that's great. I said, that's great until 3 years after you sell the house, Mama's roof blows off and she finds out she's got ACV and she comes back to you because you sold her the policy. And I could almost see it unfolding in his brain in real time. Like, because real estate sales, car sales, like they're used to finishing the transaction, then they never have to talk to that customer again unless they want to buy something else. Like, you make your money in insurance on the deliverables, not the initial sale. And that particular firm never offered homeowners insurance. Wait a minute, guys.
They think they're going to make riches off selling insurance, then they realize they're going to get 10% commission and the margins suck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to have to answer the call when Miss Johnson's billing account gets screwed up, and she's as mad as she's ever been in her entire life over an $80 commission you made. Anyway,
so is what you do, Ryan? If an agent has a program idea, do they bring it to you?
Yeah, I mean, like Scott said, like I build cool shit. So I like to brainstorm with people. I like to solve real problems. People are like, man, this doesn't really fit a general liability. This doesn't really fit professional cyber. Things like that. The program manager space, and I'm a bit unique. Like I'm definitely the oddball. But, typical program managers are going to go to retail agents and say like, okay, it looks like you have a couple $1 million of hotels scattered all over the place with different carriers. Let's do a book rollover. Let's get you your own program. Let's move that to one carrier. You're getting more commission, profit share, a little bit more control of the losses and such. Maybe you want to take risk. That's your typical program manager outlook, is helping retail agents.
And in this case, you're the program manager, the retail agent's the retail agent.
Yeah. For me, I don't do a whole lot of book rollovers like that, but I do help people create products, solve problems. And
so
I've got my hands in a lot of different jars.
Is that program captive to just that retail agent? Do only they have access to it? Or is this
sometimes?
Sometimes.
Okay. If they can support it, yeah.
And the whole program deal, a lot of people will tell you, oh, well, in order to create a program or get access to a program, you've got to have that several $1 million of premium in that niche. Is that the case with you guys? Or if somebody comes to you with, hey, here's a really big opportunity, we could write a lot of premium, but I don't currently have this on the books right now. Is that something you guys will do? And I'm asking this because there's going to be listeners that have ideas.
Yeah, I mean, to a point. I mean, most of the time when you hear programs, companies for a startup program want a couple $1 million in premium committed there.
Right.
But I would say there's definitely exceptions. Like, I just helped some guys stand up a really easy, it's kind of around the auto services. And, essentially some carriers liked this, some carriers liked that. They didn't like it when you did them together. So it was easy to find a carrier where I already had binding authority and I could throw those on a risk purchasing group and kind of work something up. Worked out really well. The agent ended up doing a couple $100,000 in premium, and that was fine. That's kind of an exception, though, for sure.
Yeah. What's the advantage for the agents that don't know? What's the advantage to having that book? What are all of the advantages? Because I know there's a few to having that book with a program, with you guys or somebody else versus just on the open market.
Yeah, I think, well, right now, like, it's really sexy. Everyone wants to be an MGA, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I want to be an MGA and have the pen. And it's like, okay, well, I want to be skinny too, but, that's just not going to happen.
And by the way, I've heard Lloyd's has really tightened up their belt on
new cover holders,
and even, getting rid of some cover holders that maybe weren't really doing anything with it. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, for sure. They're a lot tighter on capacity than a lot of people realize, for sure. But, for the agent, like, if I do really well with people who want to be MGAs, but like don't have the pedigree to be able to do that. Like they just got licensed last week. like, okay, let me be the MGA. I'll do all the back end processes. You can use Citadel's underwriting expertise and everything. You just go out and figure out how to sell this product. I'll build it for you. But with people starting their own programs, like it helps with consistency. Like, okay, I have 12 carriers writing these hotels. Let's move all of them into one carrier. Oh, I can put a form in there that I think is really going to help these hotels. That's customized. Nobody else has it. And then the margins itself too are significantly
Margins,
higher.
and then probably rate too some.
Yeah. Like I tell people, like, don't come to me with a program just because you need a lower rate than the other carriers out there. But you certainly have a little bit more control of the rates. Like we can tighten those up. You're setting your own destiny with those. So,
Yeah.
always consider it for sure, especially if you specialize or have a niche in something.
But yeah, it's like I posted this on LinkedIn recently, but I was speaking with the CEO of a regional carrier, and we had an interesting conversation. He said, rates are softening right now, and this is a carrier that does personal and commercial. He said rates are softening right now across the board. He said what everybody's doing is they are buying the market with rate. He said what we are going to do is we are going to buy the market with commission. He said so we're raising our commission to 18% and not lowering our rate. We're lowering our rates by about 15% instead of 30, right? Which is what everybody else is doing right now. And he said the goal is we want to buy the market with with commission instead of rate. That way it actually provides a better experience for our customer, because if the rate goes down 50% one year and then up 30 the next year, we would have been better off just decreasing it by a smaller percentage over 2 years, because all the customer cares about is it went up 30, right? They forget, they get amnesia that it went down 50 the year before. And I thought that was an interesting standpoint. And I do think insurance agents, sometimes we get in this mindset of what's the cheapest, when in reality it would be better for us and the customer if we could have some let's pay a little bit more, but let's have some consistency across the board with a better product.
It sounds like another Wisconsin insurance carrier.
It's not, but
No.
but it's a Alabama carrier.
Hey, Ryne, tell me the story of you getting handed the keys to a restaurant.
Yeah, no, I'll make that one quick. But essentially, I was a freshman in college. Landlord said, "Hey, I sold this on a contract, and they bailed out, but it's worth nothing if it's empty. Can you run this till I sell it?" So yeah, I was a freshman in college. I was running a small diner, kind of like an old drugstore, soda shop. I'm not gonna say it was a PF Chang's or anything like that, but yeah, I ran that freshman year. Failed out of business school because I was running that full time too, and here I am.
What'd you do the day the landlord called you and said, "Hey, could you run this restaurant? Just take it over"?
I was kind of naive. I was just like, "Yeah, sure, sounds fun."
Figure it out.
But you didn't own it. He just wanted you to run it.
Well, I owned the entity, the lease, everything else. He just owned the building. He was just my landlord.
Okay, so you did own it and run it.
Yeah, me and a couple of buddies from college. It's easy when you don't have a family. You don't really need any money but beer money, and you can kind of do whatever you want. I'm kind of ashamed to say I didn't have insurance on it. So,
how'd you unwind that? How did you unwind getting out of that? Did you sell it to somebody that took it over?
I just let my lease go. I had already not got into business school at that point,
right?
And I said, this is a lot to do during college. I won't be this naive again.
Right, no doubt.
It's kind of like Gabe that works here at Portal. Before he worked for us, he went to work for a State Farm agent. He gets to the office on his first day, and this is an agent that is very known to be somewhat absent. He's kind of a jerk, so I don't really care. So he gets there, and it's one of these like agencies that has like 2 employees. And he gets there, and the guy says, "Hey, everybody's out with COVID today. You're the only person here, and my son has a travel baseball game I have to go to.
Right.
Here's the key. Just lock up. If you need anything, just call me." And he's like, day one in insurance, I'm running this entire agency.
Wow.
Like, I don't have any logins. I don't have anything. People are coming in the office. Like,
Trying to make payments.
yeah. It's like, Lord have mercy.
I did that to my new hire last week. One day I had to go for a meeting or something for a couple of hours, and I was leaving, and I had not gotten to the part of our training last week about taking payments. So I slapped the old damn receipt book on the damn desk and said, "Look, somebody comes in and makes payment, you just write a receipt for it, and I'll take care of it when I get back." Well, I mean, what are you going to do? I hadn't had
I got in the insurance industry was an American family agent, and his district manager met me at a McDonald's.
Yeah.
And the agent says, I don't want to hire anybody, but he goes, my district manager here is making me hire somebody. So he's telling me to hire you with no insurance experience, just out of college. And I said, I really appreciate it, sir.
I've got a story I've never told that you just reminded me of.
Uh-oh.
There's not many stories I haven't told. So when I worked for a State Farm agent, 2011, I, had the entrepreneurial itch and had kind of realized, like, wanted to run my own agency one day. At the time, I thought it would be a captive agency. Thank God that didn't work out. And I was getting hit up by recruiters. The agency I worked at was a very high-producing agency, still is. And I get a DM from a farmer's recruiter. Me not realizing at the time that if you could fog a mirror, you could get a farmer's agency.
Hell yeah.
And so the guy reaches out. We take the call. I take the call, and he's like, "Yeah, man, we want to take you out and wine you and dine you and talk about all the benefits of farmers. Like, it's going to be a great day. Show you how much money you could make, yada yada." And I was like, "Okay, great. I'll hear anybody out. And where you want to go to lunch at?" Taco Bell.
They said that, or you said that?
They said that. They wanted to wine and dine me to show me how much money I could make, and their budget was Taco Bell. And I was,
Taco Bell's pretty expensive these days. Back then it wasn't.
But it's Taco Bell. And I was, even though I was young, I was smart.
About to get one of those Baja Blasts. That's what he was going to do.
Get me a Baja Blast. That was a very niche joke. There's a few people that got that. Yeah, I was young. I was 21, 22, but I was even, keen enough to know, like, okay, if the budget is Taco Bell, like, either they don't think a lot of me or they don't have any money. And I had another buddy that had a similar experience with Allstate, and they gave him the proposal or whatever to, all the stuff, and his name was misspelled on it.
Damn right.
And he's like, how much effort did you put into this? My name is misspelled, But yeah, they took me to Taco Bell.
Hey, I remember Allstate telling me when I got on the phone with them to talk about becoming an agency owner that I'd probably have this whole thing figured out in about 2 weeks. No, I swear to God, that's what he said. He said, it's going to take you about 2 weeks to figure this insurance stuff out.
I think my wife went on one of those too before she had her agency. And I don't remember which carrier. And the pitch was if you work really hard, you can make $50,000. It's like,
all I can say is you step into some of the rooms Bradley Flowers and I have stepped into, you realize that even today, however many years later, you don't know shit about insurance.
This is true.
You think you do.
This is true.
And then you go, okay, well, there's levels to this.
I had a new employee newish. He had been here a year. And I taught him something I don't remember. And he's like, man, every day I think I know everything about this industry. And then I learned something else. I said, me too. That's honestly the main reason I still do the podcast. Like, usually our guests are people that I want to learn stuff from. Yeah. Case in point.
Yes. Hey, Ryan, we got to run. But before we do, how do these agents get in touch with you if they have something they need to talk with you about relative to embedded insurance, or are they've got an idea about something?
Yeah, I always like to brainstorm. I can put my contact info with you guys. You have it. Go to LinkedIn, find me. Insurance is Mad Scientist. You'll find me on LinkedIn a lot.
Twitter.
I'm pretty responsive on there.
That's how I reached out to you, was Twitter, wasn't it?
Really?
Yeah, no, I love following Bradley on Twitter, man. I just talk about running an agency. I learned a ton of stuff. Some of the AI about your HR hiring practices blew my mind. I bookmarked that. It's amazing.
And I got so much shit for that. Did you know that?
Really?
Yes. On LinkedIn. On LinkedIn.
Different world.
Dude, I got one person blew a relationship with me. They were in a nutshell, assuming I didn't get all the proper consent to do that. And I'm like, it's on the form. There's a checkbox that says we're going to use AI. But dude, people, it's so funny, the dichotomy between Twitter and LinkedIn.
I love insurance Twitter. It's great.
Like you can post something on Twitter and get nothing but accolades, and you post the same thing on LinkedIn and you'll have 15 people telling you what you do is wrong. But dude, that post actually, and my attitude towards it was kind of like, well, F me, I don't have an agenda here. I'm just trying to show you guys something cool that I'm doing that's working. You know what I mean?
It was awesome.
I got into what Scott would call an ass tangling the other day in the DMs with somebody who commented something shitty on one of CJ's posts. And CJ had here's what, when somebody is super negative on a post where the person who's posting it is doing nothing but trying to help people, there's no agenda, there's nothing to sell. Yeah. And usually the person that leaves the shitty comment has an agenda or has something to sell that this advice directly contradicts. That, you know what I mean? But it's so
CJ just did a webinar on how he uses AI in his agency, and I was like, this is brilliant. You can't find practical uses like this on YouTube right now.
But I appreciate that. The HR hiring AI stuff is helps me a ton, dude. Like anytime I've got to have almost any conversation, Ryan, with even a current employee, I'll go into Claude where I have their assessment and be like, hey, I have to talk to this person about this. How do I need to structure this conversation? And I'm doing it for them, not for me. It's so how do I get this through? You know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When y'all go to Claude or ChatGPT and you're going to ask that in a prompt, do you do the whole thing where you act as though you're an expert in human resources for a independent insurance agent? Do you start with that, or do you just?
I don't get that complicated with it. I just say, hey, here's this DISC assessment. I have to have this conversation. How's this need to flow so that both of us can come away from this in a positive manner?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
No, insurance Twitter is great. Join us. That's where I met Bradley. That's where I met my best buddy, Brett Fulmer. Whole network.
I texted him a picture of you on the podcast a second ago.
Hey, Ryan, what's your Twitter handle?
I think my main Twitter handle is Ryne Ring. I've got an anonymous account out there too. A lot of people already know it's me anyway, but I post a lot of stuff that you can find familiar stuff in your agency on. I started when I was an actual agent and not a wholesaler, but now I'm wholesale.
I know who you are, but I won't dox you.
That's all right.
Everybody's going to think it's commercial insurance guy, but you're not commercial insurance guy.
No, not me. I
don't know who that guy is.
That's all I do.
Everybody thinks I know who commercial insurance guy is.
Yeah,
I don't know who he is.
I'd say I fix all this. I just don't ever go to LinkedIn and barely go to Twitter. And man, you don't have to worry about getting any facts if you're never there.
There you go.
Hey, Ryan, I'm gonna shut this thing down, brother. Thank you for being on the show today. As I end every episode, rewards come from action, not discussion. Get your ass out from behind that desk today. Go out into the big bad world. Become the mayor of your village. Go write good business for your wife, for your husband, for your kids' college fund. For your parents and in-laws out there like mine that are struggling, go write good business for them. Write good business for the agencies that you represent, and write good business for the carriers that you represent. Bradley Flowers, I love you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan, you're the best.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes,
Have a
sir.
good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being on. Guys, you are listening to the Insurance Guys podcast, and we love each one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of our family, and we'll see you back here real soon. Take care.